There are a lot of decisions to make when making a new MyPlayer on NBA 2K20. The last thing you want to do is make a mistake and feel like you threw away $50 or $60 on a build you don't even want. So whether you just got the game and you're looking to make your first ever player, or you've had the game and you're just going to create a second or third build, this video is designed to help you avoid those costly mistakes. So if any of these tips help you out, please drop a like and let's get right into it. So the first mistake I see people making is they don't realize how much position matters. Now you're thinking I'm saying point guard, center. No. Position matters on how many badges you're going to be allowed to get. Certain positions get more badges, even the exact same build. So I'm going to prove it to you here in just a second. So everything is identical here. The only thing we're going to change is the position. So this is for a point guard. We're going to max out driving and we're going to max out playmaking. And I want you to look at the badges, okay? So for a point guard, you get 25 finishing and 26 playmaking. We're going to back out. We're going to leave everything exactly the same. The only thing we're going to change is make it a shooting guard. So everything stays the same except for the position, right? Same pie chart, same physical pie chart. And when we max out the finishing and we max out the playmaking, look at what happens. Despite the fact that everything is the same besides the position, we only get 24 finishing and 25 playmaking. Now this is true for many positions. Typically center builds get more defensive badges than power forward builds, even if you keep everything identical. So make sure when you're building your MyPlayer, you look at how many badges you get per position. Don't just go with the first position you choose. Make sure you compare it and get the maximum amount of badges possible. Now the next mistake I see people making is copying builds. Now there's nothing wrong with copying a build if it's actually the build you want. The thing I see people do is they'll just go on YouTube and search up best builds for 2K20. They'll see a build, they'll see somebody doing really well on it, and they'll make it. Now the problem with that is a lot of these build videos have great builds, okay? But it's a great build for the person using it. Make sure the build you decide to make fits your playstyle, fits what you're trying to do. If you want contact dunks, make sure that build gets contact dunks. Don't just make it because you see Steezo or G-Man or Joe Knows or somebody going crazy on the build. Make sure that build does everything that you want in your build. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to say the build sucks. It's not the build sucks. That build might be a great build for the person who posted that video. Make sure whatever build you go with fits your playstyle and your needs. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy the build. You're going to feel like you wasted money on it. The next tip I have for you, and I've said this in a lot of my build videos, so anyone that watches me probably knows this: stop wasting attributes. You find yourself in this situation with 16 attribute points remaining. Your build is basically done, and you say, okay, where am I going to throw this? Now, a lot of people, they'll just throw it in a random category and say, whatever, it's just 16 points. It's not a big deal. But it is a big deal because it can make your build so much better. For example, you might say, interior defense is low, I'll just throw it there. As you can see, okay, my interior defense went up 16 points, but it didn't give me any badges. Make sure you're using these attributes to get as many badges as possible. For example, if I just put up my free throw by a couple and my post fade up by 1, I'm going to get another shooting badge. As you can see, I go from 12 shooting badges to 13. Now, even with that, I still have 12 attribute upgrades remaining. I could throw it all on post hook and I got 2 more finishing badges. So I just got 3 more badges using those 16 attribute points. Now, I'm not saying to ignore categories like interior defense or anything like that. You have to do what you got to do, but try to maximize badges because badges are everything in 2K20. Next up is understand the animation cutoffs. Now, animations are unlocked by having a certain amount of attributes in a category. For example, contact dunks. Now, to unlock all the contact dunks, you need 85 driving dunk. You'd be surprised how many players don't realize this, and they end up missing out on certain animations by 1 or 2 attribute points. Animations are a huge part of how your player is going to move and perform on the court. So as you can see, 85 driving dunk will unlock all the contact dunks. Now, something that even centers end up messing up on is to unlock the big man contact dunks. You need to have not only a 75 standing dunk, but a 50 driving dunk. And so many centers don't realize that. They won't upgrade their driving dunk to a 50, and then they don't get their big man contact dunk package. Other things like layup packages unlock at a certain driving layup rating. Dribble moves. If you want pro dribble moves, you need to have at least a 70 ball handling to unlock those pro dribble moves. Now, you might just think, oh, it's just an animation, but I'm telling you, animations will affect the way your player performs so much. Having the better dribble moves, dunk packages, layup packages, having the contact dunks, it's going to make a huge difference how your player not only feels, but how your player performs in the park or pro-am on NBA 2K20. The next tip I have is don't ignore the physical pie charts, okay? Most people just pick the archetype pie chart. They say, okay, this is what I want, and then they ignore the physical pie chart. The physical pie chart can have a huge difference on how your player performs, okay? So check this out. If you pick center, you pick, one of the most typical builds is like the all defensive rebounding one. Most people, they just see, okay, 95 strength, that's what I want. I want a high strength. But you have to realize there's multiple pie charts that will give you maximum strength on a center. So in this example, you might see this one, 95 strength, maxed out strength, but look at how low the vertical is. You might say you want a rebound. Why wouldn't you find the pie chart that upgrades your vertical as well, right? The one right above this, now all of a sudden your vertical is up to a 60. That could have a huge impact on how your center performs. Now, if we look at point guards, the same thing can be true. People do this all the time, and I just don't understand it. So for this example, we'll go with the pure playmaker. It doesn't really matter for this. I just want to show you the difference. So a lot of people would just say, oh, I want the most speed. It's a point guard. I want to be fast. That makes sense, but check this out. This has 95 speed, 75 vertical. But if we scroll down, you can find a pie chart that has 94 speed and 88 vertical. So you only lose 1 speed, but you gain 13 vertical. My point is, make sure you look through the physical pie charts. Don't just pick the first one that gives you the main thing you're looking for, because you might be able to improve your player by going with one of the other ones. The next tip I have is wingspan mistakes, okay? Now, wingspan does affect attributes, but I'm telling you right now, more than the attributes, it affects the way your player performs. A long wingspan is always a huge advantage in 2K. It's always been a huge advantage. Now, I know some people get turned off from it because as you put the wingspan up, you're going to see a lot of your attributes start to see -1, -2, -3, but I'm telling you, however much those attributes are dropping, unless it's putting you below an animation threshold like we talked about before, it is worth it. A longer wingspan is going to help you not only contest more shots, it's going to help you block more shots, and most importantly, it's going to help you play passing lanes. It helps your defense so much. I know it doesn't really show up in the attribute category. I know you're going to see a lot of minuses like we said, but in terms of the performance of your player on the park or in the pro-am, it has a huge impact, man. Wingspan, I cannot stress how important it is to having a good, effective MyPlayer. Now, the next tip is the 99 effect. Now, this is new to NBA 2K20, so most people who are playing 2K20 know about this. But for newer players that just got the game or whatever, you guys probably have no idea. Now, in NBA 2K20, when you hit 99.9 overall, which this year, it's not like the past years. 99 is, any casual player can hit 99. You're going to get +5 to your attributes. The reason this is important, because when you make your player originally, you might say, oh, this build only has a 79 three-pointer. It's not that good. But when you hit 99 overall after playing the game for a couple weeks, you're going to have an 84 three-pointer. And that's true for all of your stats. Now, this is also true for unlocking those animations. So if you have a player like this with an 81 driving dunk, you're going to get +5, putting you to 86 driving dunk. You're going to unlock all the contact dunk packages, okay? So this is true for getting those animation thresholds like we talked about, but also for your build overall. You have to realize all of those attributes you have, you're going to get +5 to them eventually, making your build obviously a lot better. But you should also use this information when creating your build. So, you can make them an inch taller, or maybe make the wingspan an inch longer, because you know you're going to end up getting those +5. So make sure when you're making your build, you take that +5 all attributes into consideration, knowing most likely if you play a decent amount on the player, you're going to hit 99 overall. The last tip I have for you is takeover. Now, Ronnie had said that we would be able to respec our players and change takeover, and that's not true. We all know that by now, right? That is not true. Whatever takeover you pick, you are stuck with for the rest of this player's existence. I'm not going to tell you which takeover to pick, obviously, because it depends on your build and your play style and what you're looking to do with that MyPlayer. But what I will say is make sure you read the description. Most builds this year get 3 or 4 takeover options, and the last thing you want to do is have the perfect build, but pick the wrong takeover and end up hating it. Make sure you pick the right takeover, whether you're a big man or a guard. For guards, I would recommend Slasher Takeover. It seems really, really good. For bigs, I would either go Rim Protector or Post Scorer Takeover. That's just my opinion. Of course, it depends on your playstyle and the build, like I said, but make sure you read the descriptions for each takeover. Now, that is going to wrap up the most common build mistakes people make in NBA 2K20. If this video helped you out, please drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.